Hi, it's Alaska Granny. I've been visiting with a family member who lives alone and is not reluctant to have food storage, but doesn't necessarily want to have the types of foods that I want to have on hand. So in order to encourage him to have more, we worked out a system of food storage that is specific to his needs. And that's what you want to do, is figure out not someone else's list. You want to buy foods that you want to eat, that you choose to eat, that fit your lifestyle, your taste, and your space. So I'm going to give you a tour and show you some of the foods that we stockpiled and how we put them away to help you have ideas of maybe what kind of foods would work in your long-term food storage, in your prepper pantry. Your prepper pantry should meet your needs, and that's what we've done here. So let's take a look and see what we've started. You can see this is an extremely generous, luxurious pantry in my opinion. I've never had one so wonderful. And so it seems like, of course, Alaska Granny would want to help fill it up. Down here on the floor, there were 60 pounds of rice and beans. So he at least listened to Alaska Granny and got rice and beans, but tossing the bags down on the floor is not a reasonable solution to long-term food storage. We were able to dig through the cupboards and cabinets and find some canning jars, and were able to store white beans and rice in these jars that were already on hand. An easy way to store rice and beans is to put them into a clean jar, tighten the lid, and put them away on the shelf. If you have a food saver vacuum or oxygen absorbers, that can help them last even longer. We were able to find a few boxes of wide mouth canning jars at Fred Meyer and snapped those up. They were a little expensive. Sometimes you have to pay a little bit more. So we have 3 cases or 36 jars of rice. 5 pounds of rice equals 3 jars. 10 pounds of rice fills 6 jars. So you can see we have about 60 pounds of rice. We have a dozen packages of pasta. These are the favorites that he wants to eat. They're not going to last in the pantry very long in those containers, so we need to find a plastic tote and seal them up in that. Just below the pasta, we have marinara sauce, canned tomatoes. It's easy to make simple marinara sauces out of a can of tomatoes. Next, we have a shelf with all of the different condiments, everything from maple syrup to honey, some essential oils, vinegar, hot sauces, amino acids, all kinds of sauces. Next, we have a shelf with salt, pepper, spices. Arrange the spices in a way that makes sense for you, whether you want your Italian seasonings together, your baking spices together. The nice thing is he's got some backup spices stored behind the first one so that he has the favorites of his spices already on hand. Here are the toppings for sandwiches. Obviously it doesn't make as many as I do. We have canned meats that he's willing to eat, sardines and salmon. Oops. Beans are still drying from the garden. And the different oils that he likes to use. We have the sugars, coconut sugar, brown sugar, white sugar. Remember, the enemies of food storage are air. Store your sugars airtight. If your brown sugar gets too hard, you can add a piece of bread or an apple, close the lid and leave it for a day or so, and that'll soften it. If your white sugar gets too hard, add something like a dry saltine cracker and add that for a day or two, and that should help absorb some of the moisture and maybe help it declump and be granular again. We have a jar of Tipo 00 Italian ultrafine flour for pizza dough and whole wheat flour. Here's a big canister of all-purpose flour. The rest of the flour is in a bag on this shelf. It needs to be put into an airtight container. Here's a shelf with whey powder, teas, instant coffees for emergencies. We have paper towels, dog wipes and treats, the dog food container, and the emergency meals. Amy's soups and chili. He agreed, yes, in an emergency, he would eat a can of soup with some rice, and these would see him through for a long, long time. Teddy, don't cry. Here's I hope the world doesn't go to SHTF. Yoder's bacon, canned butter, chicken bouillon cubes, chicken noodle soup, some matzahs, and matzo ball soup mix. And this box has some grab and go, easy to open and eat little meals. They're already ready to eat, like salmon chowder. They would be good for an emergency, for a bug out bag, get home kit. So the grab and go are in their little hideout. Look around. We found a spot under the stairway. You can have a cooler, a 72-hour food kit, bottles of water, charcoal for emergency cooking. We've got some bug out gear. And then lots of the boxes from the Mormon or the LDS Church. There's rice, oats, apples, pinto beans. You can buy these online. You get 6 cans of the variety that you choose come packed in the box at a very reasonable price. You just need to keep looking back because sometimes they're out of stock. There's always a spot that you can add a little more emergency gear if you look around. No matter if you have a tiny house or a roomy place, get rid of things that you don't need so that you have room to store the things that you do need and you do use. And remember, stock up on the supplies that you use. Don't take someone else's list. Get what you want to keep yourself and your family safe, no matter what the future brings. If you liked my video, I hope you'll share it with someone else who might enjoy it. Learn more at alaskagranny.com and please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.